politics. This is a humanitarian issue which has been Malaysian stance since time immemorial. And at the same time, our Palestinians to me are like my brothers and sisters, not just for me but for all Malaysians. And the fact that Israel is the one who heavily politicizes this issue, for example, when the Palestinian football team wants to play outside, they need permission from Israel. And there have been many occurrences where Palestinian football players can't leave their country because of the Israeli Defense Forces. Israel has consistently lobbied, for example, the NBA in US to preclude Palestine, and if Palestine is included, or Palestinians, or the recognition of Palestine is made, then action will be taken. So I mean, they have consistently been doing that, and our Palestinian brothers and sisters are left helpless. They have no recourse. They've been precluded from multiple different sporting events because of the Israeli lobby. Their athletes have been murdered in cold blood or banned from representing their own country because of Israel, and they can't do anything. And suddenly when Malaysia just made the decision, which is a foreign policy decision which has been there for a very long time, to disallow Israeli athletes to represent the Israeli state to come from Malaysia, suddenly it became the biggest of issue. Because while, for example, people say that this will be a big loss for Malaysia, we can't host international events, but we have been hosting many international events. Just for example, I just signed a paper for us to be the host for the FIT International Touch World Competition, right? It's a World Championship. All of them are coming to Malaysia, more than 2,200 athletes. And many other World Series, World Championships which we can host. But we've made it a clear precondition that the Israeli state, which is run by Benjamin Netanyahu, a war criminal, should not have a place in this new Malaysia.
But if you were to go on the humanitarian front, you could also consider perhaps the war between
Pakistan and India, and also the Myanmar, Rohingya issue.
So there is a big critical difference here. One is Malaysia has no ties with Israel. The second thing is, this is something which has been done consistently throughout the years. It's not like this is the first time Malaysia has sent its protest against Israel for what they've done, but they keep on pushing for the atrocities over and over again throughout the years, and it gets worse. For example, the building of new settlements within the West Bank, and it keeps on expanding. And recently, the push to recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital, and countries who oppose it had sanctions placed upon them. US took away more than R1 billion of funding from Palestine because countries like Malaysia and other countries supported the Palestinian cause, opposing the recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. So for example, when we deal with Pakistan, India for example, we've had diplomatic ties, we've worked very closely with them. We can send our diplomatic message to them and get our voices heard. And throughout the years, we always see progress. But for Israel, we only see regression. The atrocities continue, the war crimes still happens, and the apartheid state is still there. I'm pretty sure you can't say the same for Pakistan and India. If you follow the World Wrestling Championships, this is one of the qualifiers. There are many qualifiers. That's more than 8. It's just one of the 8. And it's not that the qualifier will go missing. There will still be qualifiers in other countries, and that one in Malaysia will now go to a different country. We will still send our athletes to be represented there.
So
I think there's a difference.
If they are competing with Israeli athletes over there, it's completely fine.
Exactly. Yeah. We have a collaboration with FAM where we look forward to get Malaysia's football team into the World Cup by 2030. It's called F30. FAM has launched it.
So that is the target.
Yes.
30.
So the plan means we have to ensure that we groom those who are 12, 13, 14 now to prepare them for the future. So that's why for the first time, the government has allocated a 15 million ringgit fund per annum for the National Football Development Programme, NFDP. Previously, government said that they'll dedicate 20 million, but last year government only received 3 million. Which then screwed up the whole funding process. With 3 million, how are you going to groom world champions? And then it will force MSN to take money from other sports, from other sites to fund unnecessarily. So now we got a dedicated fund And now that's why you see big changes happening in NFDP, especially in Academy Muhtadari. Academy Muhtadari is where, out of like nationwide selection, tens of thousands of people involved, the best 50, the best and the brightest as young as 12, 13, 14-year-olds will be placed at Gambang, Academy Muhtadari, to be trained by the best of coaches in Malaysia with the best of ecosystem. So we are hoping that that will be the launching pad for us to get to the World Cup. Some changes there. One, for example, you see our under 16 AMD team now enrolling themselves in the under 19 National Football League, going against Selangor, Johor, and they are undefeated. On top of that, we're signing a lot of MOUs with multiple different international academies. So we already have it with Qatar, you know, the Aspire Academy. So we will play with them a lot. They are coming here, we are going there. And then some clubs in the UK, and then we look forward to sign more and more deals that we can place. Because out of 50, we want to get like 10 of them to be in different countries to play for different football academies, so that when they come back to serve for Malaysia, we have a diversity of skill sets and exposure to then play for the Malaysian football team together.
Right, so when you mentioned about teams in the UK, was it in one of your discussions with Tan Sri Sentap, Khalif Siddiq?
I'm not in a position to comment about that now, but trust me, it's more than that. We want to discuss with as many parties as possible. When we ran the previous program, tier-based, it was predominantly due to financial constraints which we went through. Because MSN had a lot of debts which it had to pay, and the debts were because of KL 2017. The accounts were still not closed. The audit report reflected very bad, as it will be presented in Parliament. For example, even for Podium, the audit report was in the negative. It was really bad. Money which should have been allocated towards athletes and development, it was instead spent on other reasons. So then when we inherited, there were some problems which we had to resolve with. So then that made us lead to that decision. However, there's good news. Just today, this morning, we said that we will continue the Podium program, because the Podium program is good, right? I think the previous government was correct in coming up with the Podium program. It's just that we must also get additional resources to focus that additional resources on Kita Juara, which is the pelapis, the second tier, right? So now in the newly in the newly refined Podium program, there's still great emphasis for the best of athletes. We aim for the Olympics, but the Podium now is larger than before. Now we include the athletes from Kita Juara as well. So instead of only focusing on Olympics, now we focus on Olympics, Commonwealth, Asian Games, including SEA Games. So there are 5 Sukan Tamasha which will be focused. So now there's a greater breadth of athletes will be included, including the young ones, because I mentioned to MSN I want a great emphasis on up and coming athletes, the young ones, because we need to prepare. Who will be the next Azizul Hasni Awang? Who's going to become the next Datuk Lee Chong Wei? Who's going to become the next Datuk Nicole David? So we need to start allocating more resources towards young people to climb up. And the good thing is, now we can focus on both, because after talking to the Prime Minister and also the Minister of Finance, they've allocated additional budget. So Alhamdulillah, last year the budget for high performance sports was about 90 million ringgit dedicated. Now we have 180 million. When we talk about welfare, there were a few key reforms which were able to be pushed forward. 3 weeks ago, Cabinet decided on a landmark deal on providing compulsory healthcare skim kesihatan khas. Skim kesihatan khas bagi semua bekas atlet yang berdaftar di bawah YAKIB. YAKIB is a body which is tasked to take care of ex-athletes. So that means now they will be given healthcare care, and the cost will be fully borne by the government. Previously there was none, which is odd because our ex-athletes are the heroes and heroines of Malaysia. The cost is quite high. It's 3 to 10 million ringgit. But finally, the months of negotiation with the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance, there's an agreement. So now we've already covered their healthcare costs. On top of that, in YAKIB, the welfare body for ex-athletes, this year, again after negotiation with the Minister, we got an additional 3 million ringgit to be spent on them. And then this month, end of this month, we will launch the Athlete Centre, a one-stop centre for athletes, ex-athletes to come so that their welfare will be taken care of. There's a direct line. And finally, last year there were only 6 participating universities who were collaborating with us in terms of giving scholarships, flexible credit hours, etc. Now they are 20, because I put a great emphasis on that, because I want more young athletes to be given scholarships, to be given flexibility in study arrangement and hours, so that they can become an athlete and also get a degree or a diploma. Pressure is pressure, but I always believe as long as the heart is in the right place, everything will go well. And I love doing what I do, no matter how exhausting it can be. My passion is in it. It is an absolute privilege to be given the opportunity to serve fellow Malaysians, especially in the Youth and Sports Ministry. I have a great team. Whatever people say about civil service being negative, incompetent, I think my team is exceptional. I mean, it's not just because we are a first-time government. On top of that, being young, one mistake can be magnified a lot more, right? At the same time, pressure is on me, because if I fail, my fear is that it will set a bad precedent for other young politicians to be given the opportunity to be ministers or aduns or excos or whatever big portfolios on the national level. So I want to prove that a young person can do it, and out of merit, that age is not the ultimate determinant of one's success.
Do you have time to date with your schedule?
Fortunately not, unless people are willing to go out with me after 10 PM.
Okay.
Which is a difficult thing. You can ask my office. I mean, I've go out, work very early and then come back very, very late. Usually actually it's later than 10. At times even up to midnight. Problem being single and unmarried is that people say, oh never mind, we can have the meeting at 11, at 12, it's okay. So it's hard for me to say no. My peers, for example, in the cabinet can say, I have a family to go back to. What can I say?
Do you still contact KJ? Does he give you advice on what to do and things like that?
Previously we established contact. We met up here as well. Text before, and then after I think an incident, I'm not sure. I mean, yeah, I think whatever it is, he's the predecessor. I'm not here to demonize him, because he's still the predecessor of my predecessor in KBS, and the good work which he has done will be continued. I've given my commitment, because I don't think there should be any ego battle within KBS for me to demonize him in order for me to succeed. Good things will be continued, bad things can be corrected. In the end, I believe the people and the youth in particular more focused on what this new government can offer, not necessarily on demonizing our predecessors. So I believe what's most important is the way forward.